1, 2, 3, 4. You ever seen a lame man walk? Ever heard a dumb man talk? Never seen a blind man see? I promise you will change his name. Ever seen a cancer dead? Ever seen all the poor get fed? Ever seen a prisoner set free? I promise you will change his name. Broken heart made whole. Ever seen an orphan find a home? Ever seen the weak find the strength? I promise you I'll change his name. Ever seen the sick get healed? Ever seen a mystery revealed?
Hey there, interweb peoples. This is the Big C and Bigger T podcast number 2. The second one. The second annual, well, it's not the second annual, after the big show last time. Hey, I hope you're enjoying our intro music. I forgot to throw it out there last week. That is my buddy Sean Michelle. That is from an unreleased album. But if you like Southern rock, gospel, mixed with some just down and dirty, just blues music, listen to Sean Michelle. Look him up on iTunes. Any of those other kind of things. Okay. What is up, Big C, Clint Clark? How you doing today, buddy?
Man, I am as the owner of the company I work for always says. He says this every time you talk to him. I am better than I deserve. It's a good saying. I'm definitely better than I deserve. Guys, we can't thank you enough for watching the podcast. I think with me and Travis, we hope to get around 50 views. And last time I checked, we were pushing 200. Ecstatic.
Well, that's because your mom watched it like 48 times. Still.
I did. And we'll get more into that later. But guys, what we really need you all to do, we need you to buy a new roof so we can get rid of the feminist propaganda.
That's right.
I need to redecorate.
Hometown roofing.
But I need Robert Branscombe to pay for it. So hometown roofing.
Your wood, shingles, keep you dry. Get hometown roofing.
There you go.
All right. Clint, all is right with the world right now.
It is.
In Arkansas world, the birds are singing. The wind is blowing smoothly through my hair. I'm frolicking through the fields. Just because hogs are in the Sweet 16.
They are in the Sweet 16.
Sweet 16.
I like our chances of making the Elite 8.
We were young pups the last time they went.
Yeah,
we could still play full court basketball last time they went.
Now we can't run up the court.
Man, what do you think of the games this weekend? What do you think of what you saw from the Hogs?
I thought we saw a lot of resilience in the first game because we got down to Colgate, and especially with a young team that does it, that they're young. I mean, that game they started 2 freshmen. The next game, and I'm going to talk about that later, they started 3 freshmen. Against Colgate, they got down. They had every opportunity to quit and just like, you know what, this it was a good year. We made the tournament, but they had the resolve to work through that. Then they made the adjustments the second game. And I want to give Musselman credit because when you've had the same starting lineup for a while, which he has, he started Connor Vanover, who you're a huge fan of. That's sarcasm. That's sarcasm. Don't know me. But yeah, so Connor Vanover, I don't think Connor played against Texas Tech.
No, I don't think, not at all.
Yeah,
a lot of times he'll put him in there for the jump ball and he starts him because I heard Musselman say in a press conference, he always loves to win. He always loves to win the jump ball. He likes to start out winning the jump ball, and so he trains his jumper to win the jump ball. But Jalen Williams won it that game, so he didn't need but you think 7'3" dude He doesn't even have to jump. He's going to win the jump ball.
Well, and me and Vanover got about the same vertical. It's not much. But when you're 7'3", you don't need one. But no, he gambled. It was a gamble to start Jalen Williams. It was a gamble. And that's what excites me about the R. Roberts game. I think Jalen didn't play at all. He played 0 minutes. And then Devo played 7. And I think it was you that brought it to my attention, that Texas Tech game. Fast forwarded to the end of the game, because you said in our little Marco Polo group, Marco Polo, there's your plug for the dozens and dozens of people listening, Sue Clark. So they said, look, I'm assuming I wasn't in the huddle, that Musselman pulled him in and said, McClung does not get that ball. No matter what happens, he does not beat us. And Devo was on him like stink on poop, white on rice, use whatever your analogy you want to use. But that was about the best defense I've ever seen.
Well, listen, and when you're playing defense, the best thing you can do is deny the ball even gets to the guy you're guarding. It's not just guarding once he gets the ball. The defense has to start before he gets the ball to him. And they wanted to get the ball to McClung. And if you watch that last play, which, by the way, as we're filming this, the game is on TV right now on CBS Sports. It's in the second half, and Arkansas is up 48-40. We win, by the way. But on that last play, if you watch their offense, they're guys trying to get the ball to McClung, the shooter, scorer for Texas Tech. And they can't do it because Devo Davis is all over him. And that was the play of the game, if you ask me, because that just messed up everything they could do right there. The guy ended up getting a good look at a 2-point basket, but Devo Davis shut him down. Now let's talk about this next game. We're playing a team we've already played once. We beat, but we were down by 10, and we beat them by 9. What do you think about Oral Roberts coming into this game?
Well, the thing is, both teams are better. And I'm going to plead guilty here. I did not watch the first game.
I don't think it was on TV.
I do a lot of research for this podcast, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the first game. And then the second game, then I didn't get to watch either of the other 2 games. But that being said, you beat Ohio State. You beat Florida. And I don't think they're not going to be satisfied getting there. Oral Roberts is coming to win the game.
Yeah.
They're not coming to lose. They're coming to win the ball game, and everybody's going to get everybody's best shot. So if Oral Roberts shows up to play and we don't, we will lose this game. Both teams playing their best. What Coach Mullen used to always say to us at Tech a lot of times before the game, and we only lost once when he said this, is they play their best, we play our best, we win the game. And outside, I think we played Carson Newman in the playoffs, and that didn't work out. But
I'll tell you, the thing that scares me about Oral Roberts is their shooting percentage. They do have 2 players that shoot amazing percentage, especially from free throw line. They're leading all time in free throw shooting percentage right now. Like the number 1 is like a Harvard team from years ago.
Right.
They shot 82 point something %, and Oral Roberts is shooting 82 point something % right around them right now. But the thing is, of those free throw shooting, 2 players do most of it. They're 2 best players. One of them's a 6'9" guy, one of them's a guard. So if we can keep from putting those 2 guys on the line, it's okay if we commit some fouls and put them on the line if we keep it from being those 2 guys. Now, those 2 guys are who's going to have the ball in their hand the most. That makes me feel a little better that if we can stop 2 main guys instead of trying to stop, 5 guys as much. You're still going to have to stop all of them. It's going to be a tough game.
It is going to be a tough game. And I think, we played Texas Tech, and I believe we just had a few we didn't foul that much. We played good defense without really fouling.
Yeah. Definitely, for sure. And that was a tough game playing against a great coach there. But we can talk about one of my favorite coaches there, Chris Beard, a whole lot. But let's turn the page a little bit, because not only are things going well right now in basketball, but something we've kind of, I don't know, in my conversations a lot with people this last week, I'm not hearing a lot talked about is we got spring football going on right now. And this is Sam Pittman's first spring as Razorback coach. What are some things that you're hoping happens this spring? And then I'll talk a little bit about some of the things that I hear are happening.
So when we had Belima here, when did it go downhill? It was when Pittman left. The offensive line play went from really, really, really good to poor, like that. I want to see that offensive line, Joe. I think last year was the best we've seen, and they weren't great last year. It was the best we saw the offensive line play since Pittman left. And you would see things like there. I got a string close up there. We got a little Wayne's World reference. But you would see things like and I played offensive line in college poorly, but I was there. I was on the team. But I did the thing. That's not me being. I'm trying to stop being so self-deprecating. But it's a podcast. Who cares? But you would see things like tackles not moving their feet, chasing with their hands, and I'm like, you don't do that. And so I want to see the offensive line gel. I want to see if the defense can take the next step. We were really good in pass protection, but we weren't really good. The team has got to get better in the trenches. And a lot of people are like, oh, the quarterback situation, I'm not concerned about the quarterback situation because, honestly, I truly believe this. I think Malik Hornsby and KJ Jefferson are both better suited for Kendall Browell's offense than Felipe was. And that's not – Felipe Franks was a godsend. I mean, he came in and stabilized the program. And I'm excited to see the next step. I mean, you look at the Missouri game, KJ played lights out. KJ Jefferson was not the reason we lost that game at all. He played lights out. I'm not really worried about the receiving core. I'm not too worried about the running backs. I'm not really worried about the linebackers and defensive backs. I'm worried about the trenches.
I'd say the biggest I'll tell you, I'm not an insider. Okay. I'm not, we're neither one, we're in the media or anything like that. However, in this time and space, there's lots of ways to find out information about what's going on. One of the things, they put every press conference on YouTube. Okay. And I'm a big nerd and I watch all those.
You are
big nerd. And also I'm a big fan of, I'm a member of hogsports.com. But Trey Biddy has on their YouTube page a free podcast, video podcast he does of each week. If you're not watching it, you need to be watching it. It's great. Okay. But so the information I'm about to give about how things are going right now, I'm getting from those two avenues. But from what I'm hearing is the offensive line is doing very well in the spring. The guys that needed to add weight are adding weight. Guys that needed to lose weight are losing weight. And that's what a lot of people misconception. They think Pittman just wants to add weight to people. But he has got other guys. He's bringing them down to where they need to be. The worry, it seems like I'm hearing is, I think Trey Biddy talked about, is really not, a lot of people say linebacker. It's really not linebacker, which having Morgan and Poole and them
Thunder
back,
Buddies,
having them back and Henry, having all them, we have 10 players that opted to stay that could have left graduation, but because of the COVID rules, they were able to do an extra year. But I'll tell you a couple of things to look out for on the quarterback battle. One of the things that I'm with you, and it sounds like from what some of the players are saying is that KJ Jefferson has come back with the mindset that he's a leader and the mindset that this is his to win. And they're running him as the number one. And the fact that they're calling him number one, and not saying that it's him and Hornsby, or, that they're, because in the past they would have said they're, 1A and 1B or something like that. You know what I mean? They wouldn't commit to one of them being number one. They're saying KJ's number one. So I think it's his to lose right now. But I'll tell you, one of the things that worries me, and Pittman talked about this in a press conference, is they're holding on to the ball too long. Clint, what happens if the quarterback holds on to the ball too long?
They're going to get sacked.
They're going to get sacked, and it's going to make your offensive line look bad. A lot of people, brag about our offensive line when Brandon Allen was there. A lot of the reason our offensive line looked so good when Brandon Allen was there, because Brandon Allen would get rid of the ball. He would throw it into the stands.
And Brandon never got the credit he deserved for as good a quarterback as
he did. But he's still in the NFL.
Yeah, out of every quarterback in our lifetime, no one has had the longevity as Brandon Allen. I mean, the Cincinnati thought so much well, and they're like, look, we're going to pay you to be your backup quarterback. Don't come to practice. You just prepare at home, because if somebody goes down with COVID, you're his guy. And so, I was like, okay. And so Brandon showed up, and he's played well for Denver and Cincinnati. Is there a better job in the world than being the backup quarterback in the NFL? Yeah. I don't think there is. I mean, you're basically paid millions of dollars, and I think he's played long enough. He's going to get the NFL pension for the rest of his life. Just being a smart, serviceable quarterback.
Well, let me tell you a couple other names here. Let me find them here. Lucas Coley is a quarterback to watch. They say he's getting the ball out quicker than any of them. That he's getting the ball and has really looked pretty good in a couple of practices. Now, I'm not saying he's going to take KJ Jefferson, but he may press him. But here's another one we forget about. That's we had a transfer in named Cade Renfro. From Ole Miss. And, he played at Stevensville in Texas, which is a juggernaut for good quarterbacks. So remember those names. Those are some names we might start hearing some, but I'm really thinking this job's KJ's to lose. Now, another place we got to worry a little bit is running back, because we're really small there, but the way they've got a guy that they've moved into the running back position from wide receiver. And I researched this guy because he's been showing out a little bit. His name is, they call him Rocket Sanders. Okay. This guy is like 6'3", 200 and some odd pounds. Think of, he's got Treylon Burke potential. He's humble. He's a hard worker. He's got an awesome body. If you move Treylon Burke to running back, he's all SEC at running back.
Right.
If you just put him at running back. If you put him at linebacker, he's all SEC at linebacker.
Now, I remember listening to the radio. Go ahead. I interrupted you. I apologize.
No, it's okay. I'm just saying he's that type of guy. This Rocket Sanders sounds like he's the type of guy. He played running back and receiver, and they say he's providing a spark at running back that we don't already have on the team. He's going to wear number 5 to kind of continue that deal there. So be on the lookout for him. Go ahead, Clint.
And I remember when Darren McFadden came to Arkansas, I was listening to the Buzz 103.7, and they had Wally Hall, who, I'm not a big fan of. But neither here nor there. So anyway, as Wally was on there, and they were talking about he really thought they should play Darren McFadden at free safety, because he's going to the NFL. He'd be in the NFL as a safety. He was in the NFL as a running back. He was the number 4 overall pick, highest draft pick Arkansas has ever had. But the reality is, you put Darren McFadden at quarterback, he was going to succeed. You put him at free safety, he was going to succeed. Wherever you put Darren McFadden on the field, he was going to succeed. And I think that's kind of what they see in Rocket. And so they want a bigger back, and I think he's going to give it to them. And you got an athlete like that. I mean, the receiving core, that we got coming back. You got Mike Woods, who I love Mike Woods. If you're not following Mike Woods on Twitter, do yourself a favor, follow Mike Woods on Twitter because he's hilarious. Apparently, he's the best host they have. If they have a recruit coming in, they want Mike Woods showing him around because, like, apparently he closes everybody they got. I mean, like, they'll be like guys will decommit, and then they'll be like, I don't know where I'm going to go. You're like, man, quit playing. Come on. and he always gets them to come to Arkansas. But I mean, in Burks, they got the kid that just transferred in from Florida State. Arkansas is loaded at wide receiver. Loaded. If Chad Morris did nothing else for Arkansas, he recruited the wide receiver position really well. He was a terrible on-field coach. Justin Stepp maybe. But yeah, terrible.
Well, I'll tell you, the thing we're gonna have to worry about is defensive line. You're talking about the trenches. That's gonna be our biggest worry because we lose. Who was it? The big defensive lineman, Marshall. Yeah, we lost him. We lost the kid that transferred in from Clemson. We got a couple guys that have bulked up a little bit, but look for them to add somebody through the transfer portal, even this spring, or this summer. If they find a big guy that can move a little bit, they're going to add some size to that defensive line.
Sure.
Well, Clint, go ahead.
No, I think we were doing the same way. We both know we're way over on this segment.
Yeah. So
we get it out. We're like 3 minutes over, but it's all right.
One thing we're learning from doing the podcast, right, is that when we say stuff on here, there might be repercussions. And you had a little bit of repercussions this week, didn't you?
I did. So as you know, I called my dad, Tom Clark, cheap.
Yes.
I said he's cheap, in which Tom Clark is not the cheapest man alive. My brother Paul Clark is.
We should clear that up.
Yeah, we should clear that up. But so I had mom and dad over for dinner. We had smoked a brisket, which was fantastic. Sue made a dirt cake too. And we got in trouble for not mentioning her Kool-Aid. And she says, I can't believe y'all didn't mention my Kool-Aid.
Yeah, this show is always brought to you by Mama Sue's Kool-Aid.
Mama Sue's Kool-Aid.
We would not be the men we are today without Mama Sue's Kool-Aid.
The nectar of the gods, as you used to call it.
That's right, the nectar of the gods.
But so Tom's sitting on my couch, I'm sitting in the recliner, and he goes, "What do you mean I'm cheap?"
It's out of nowhere, huh?
Out of nowhere. He's like, "What do you mean?" and then Mom's like, "I can't believe you didn't mention my Kool-Aid." Because y'all came over, watched the Super Bowl at my house, and one of the things we requested for Mom to make Kool-Aid, and so she made us all Kool-Aid. But we made that road closed sign comment about how Tom's cheap. But the reality was he wanted his sons to have a basketball goal. And so
I don't know if we made that clear last week that the road closed sign was the backboard for the basketball goal. That your dad had put a road closed sign up, attached a rim to it, put it on a pine tree, like flat up against the pine tree, and that was your basketball goal growing up.
And it was just as good as any other basketball goal. If you were shooting a layup, hit the O and the S, and that was that was like in the square. But that was Tom Clark to a T. We never went without anything. I mean, we did it. It wasn't like we didn't always have the most money, but he made sure we were taken care of. And kind of the segue to this is we took, and this is our question of the week for you guys, is when did you ever take a coming of age trip? Because me, Travis, one of our best friends that we've talked about on this podcast, Wesley, we'd invited Robert Branscombe, one of our best friends. He couldn't go for whatever reason. And so we took our buddy Jake Alexander with us. So us four loaded up in Sue Clark's Ford Aerostar van.
Two-tone blue,
like a bunch of 19-year-old kids. Dumb.
We had just finished our first year of college, or I had finished my first year.
Right.
I think you were about to go to college.
Yeah.
Wesley was about to go to college.
Yeah.
Jake had just graduated high school.
Yeah, we were all young because Jake was a year younger. It was me and Wesley and you and all. So we loaded
1995.
up. You shouldn't have mentioned the year.
Yeah.
So we drove. I believe, I don't remember what the first spot was, but we took
Columbus.
off Columbus, Ohio. We went to, of course, we went to Wooster, we went to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And this is the difference between me and you. And we've talked about it before, is when you can go, I have no attention span. I have the worst attention span in the world. I'm the poster child for ADHD. If Ritalin had been a thing when I was a kid, I would have probably been on it. I probably should be on it as an adult, but I'm not. So, but you could go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or the Football Hall of Fame, and you can sit there and like read everything. I'm like, oh, cool. There's a statue of Brett Favre. Let's move on.
I think I did read everything at both those, to be honest with you.
You did, and you were annoying me. As an adult, I think looking back now, I would enjoy it a little bit more. But as a kid, I'm like, all right, this is great. Let's go home. Let's look at the gift shop.
Yeah.
So all in all, what did you think of that trip, that coming of age trip?
Man, that was one of the highlights of my life. We earned our money to go. We're creative. We've always been kind of creative fellas. And I was thinking, we love 3-on-3 basketball tournaments, and our church had done one some. And so I went to my youth pastor and I said, look, we'll put on the tournament. We'll advertise it. We'll staff it.
Do all the work.
We'll do all the work. Just let us do it at the church. Y'all can sell concessions or whatever you want to do. We'll just take half the proceeds and y'all take half the proceeds. And, we'll give half of it to the church and we'll keep half of it for our gas money. And that's how we got the gas money for the trip. We went, our original goal was to go to I'm a Cleveland Browns fan. So the Browns had just, if you remember around that time, they had just shut the Browns down and moved them to Baltimore. So like a month after it, they were going to implode the stadium. So I wanted to try to go get in the stadium, and we wasn't able to get in, but I still have pieces of concrete from it. I wish we would have had a screwdriver to steal those parking signs.
If we had stopped Jake was trying to tear it down.
Yeah.
And I've always been like scared to get in trouble. And so I was like, no. And so we had to stop Jake, but I did, of course, a long time ago we had the house fire, lost everything. But so I lost my piece of Cleveland Browns Stadium, but I did have a piece of concrete from it, because it was literally
one of the best things about it. You remember, in order to get our hotels and stuff, your mom had bought us one of those coupon books. You could buy this coupon book for like $50, and in it, for any city in the world or in the United States, you could find deals on hotels. And so we stayed in like Hilton's and Ramada Inns, but it was like 50% discount. And like, I don't even think we were old enough to rent a room at a hotel yet. Like, I think you're supposed to be 21 at the time to rent a room. Yeah. But we were, and then of course, I think we had to lie a couple times and say that there was just 2 of us staying in there, and then we sneak the other 2 in.
I remember we pulled up to one, and they're like, "Oh, we have 3 of us in there," because y'all are mad at me because I would have the duck and down ride in the back of the van. And you're like, "Oh," then the guy was like, "No, y'all got way more than that." I think we ended up having to go stay somewhere else. That guy would not rent us a room.
Yeah.
And honestly, in all kidding aside, we were 4 well-behaved 19-year-olds. We weren't troublemakers. We never were. And so none of us drank. None of us did drugs. I mean, we were 4 good kids, four friends. And the only regret from that trip is that Robert wasn't with us. I know we were talking earlier about maybe we try to recreate it sometime and take Robert with us. But yeah, it would be.
But we hit. This was in just a few days. We hit the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Paramount's King Island, which is a big,
amusement park,
which we knew nothing about until we got there. And then we went to a Cincinnati Reds game the last night we were there, and then drove all night home so that Wesley and I could play in a church league softball tournament. But But man, it was one of the funniest things. I know Clint doesn't remember this, but we were on the water in the water section, the water rides, and they had this one that was like a big tube, and you rode like you could ride up to 4 people in this big tube. Well, me and Clint were in line. The other 2 guys had gone over to do like something on the regular part, some sort of ride there. And so we're like, surely we're as big as we are. They'll let just 2 of us go on this one. We get up there and the guy's like, you need at least 3. And we're like, we don't have, he said, well, give me 2. Is there any other that's just 2? And there was these 2 little kids, looked like about 10 years old. And they were behind us and they're, they look up and they're like, we can go. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be fun. So we sit down in there and I'm sitting across looking at this kid. I looked at him and I said, you ready to die? He looked at me like, what? I said, last time we were on this with 2 little kids like you, they just flew out of it because we weighted down the side so bad. I said, this is going to get ugly. Clint was saying the same type of stuff, saying, yeah, man. If I was there. And we were going back and forth, just messing with them. And those little kids were looking at us. They were about to start crying, I think. And then once we started, they let us go and start going down. Me and Clint both started screaming like little girls. And the guys, those boys just started laughing at us. It was so funny. But no, man, that was a fun trip. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was like I figured the Pro Football Hall of Fame would have been by far the best. And then the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was up there, man. It was really cool.
And Paramount's King Island, too, I didn't want to – I mean, I don't remember. I did not want to go to that. That was Jake's idea. Because me, you, and Wesley went to the water park, and Jake didn't even go to the water park. He went to the amusement park. I'm petrified of heights. I'm not slightly scared of heights. I'm petrified of heights. Like, I get scared watching someone else climb a ladder. That's how scared of heights I am. And so I'm like, I ain't going to ride rides. I'm not going to happen. Like that, but I didn't want to go. And we had so much fun in that water park. There's your string close up again. Got to keep fixing my chair. So, but now it's time that we got to segue to our future guest.
Before we do that, a reminder,
Right.
we want to hear.
Tell them I said hi.
We want to hear from you. Do y'all have stories of trips of your own, coming of age? Put them in the comments on Facebook, put it in the comments on YouTube, on our YouTube page. Okay. What are some stories of some great trips you took kind of coming of age? Maybe you and your friends took that you look back now, I can't believe we went on that, or that was so much fun. Clint, what's your this is the section where we talk about our advertisers. We have our main advertiser, Hometown Roofing.
Owned by Robert.
We also have advertisers that we think are possible advertisers that would fit well with our show. We're not pie in the sky guys. We don't think we're going to get Coca-Cola to sponsor us, or Taco Bell. Although we'll take that if they call. If they call, we'll take that phone call.
Yeah, we'll take their money.
We won't do it like I just did mine. Mm-hmm. But Clint, what's your sponsor, future hopeful sponsor?
As you know, I'm a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And so I go to the gym and I get very sweaty sometimes. When I come home, I need a shower. And, I could do shampoo and conditioner and soap, and I have all these different bottles.
It's too many bottles.
Too many bottles. Who's got time for so many bottles? We're busy men.
And for the counter space.
Counter space. I'm married. I know you're not. You're a single guy. Ladies, Travis Johnson, he's available. There you go. If nothing else, we're gonna get you a girlfriend out of this deal, buddy.
Yeah, more likely not. Yeah.
Probably not, but it's all right. We can dream. We're dreamers, but I don't want shelf space. What can I do? Suave 3-in-1 body wash.
Suave 3-in-1. definitely.
do shampoo, conditioner,
The hair, the face,
the
body, or you have the hair, shampoo, conditioner, body.
It's all in one.
Either one, you're doing good.
Yeah.
Because you're taking care of three things at once. And to be honest with you, whichever one you do, you just start at the top and work your way down.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Way.
But you don't want to go butt on top.
Work your way down.
Down. Work your way here. Work your way down.
Plus, how classy is Suave?
It is very classy. It's like $1.99 at Walmart.
Big C, Bigger T podcast brought to you by Suave.
3-in-1 body wash. Shampoo.
Man, that's good stuff. Citrus blend or blue wave.
Maybe some lavender.
Yeah, lavender. Okay, mine this week. You're like me. You listen to some different podcasts sometimes. I listen to quite a few and these video podcasts and stuff. And there's a lot of them that are getting sponsored by these mattress companies where you order a mattress and it comes like rolled up in a box.
Ooh,
it's like the memory foam stuff. And you roll the mattress out. Okay. Now look, we can't afford that. I can't afford a mattress like that. Especially, I'm not going to sit and wait for it to reconstitute its size or whatever once you unroll it or something. Back in the day, if you wanted to make your mattress better, you want to sleep better, you went to Walmart or Fred's.
I know where you're going.
The egg crate cover thing that you had put on top and then put your sheet over that. Now, I didn't get a chance to look up the name brand, but however, whatever name brand we can find of that, we're the egg crate. Okay. It would do miracles for a mattress.
I'm tipping my hat to you because when we said this, we're going to come up with the most ridiculous sponsor. And I know I pitched you the idea of I want fresh aftershave because who uses aftershave anymore? But,
that's right.
But the idea of being sponsored by egg crates.
That's right. That's us.
It's just. I don't know if you can do this segment anymore because you hit the peak, my friend. You hit the peak. I thought more about me and Dr. Topper, but Suave.
You want to sleep better. You want to sleep better. Get you an egg crate. All right. Now, we also talk about future hopeful guests. Okay,
future hopeful but not. They're possible, but not impossible. Yeah. I mean, it's unlikely.
Yeah. People we might could pull if something happens just right. The right person watches this. They say, hey, I know that person. I can help you out. We'll get them on there.
Yeah.
Last week, it was Judd Reinhold, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to have a standing one, but I'm going to add it. I'm going to add to it every week. But my standing one, Jeff Nichols, Maude Crawford, Disappearance of Maude Crawford. I have a movie idea. Jeff Nichols, contact me. Or if anybody knows him out there or how I can get in touch with him. Let's get this movie done. Okay. Clint, go ahead. Who's your this week?
Well, I was going to stick with Judd Reinhold, but now that you're changing the game on me, I'm going to go with Ray Mckinnon. Ray Mckinnon from he was the bad guy the first two seasons of Mayans. He also was one of the villains on Sons of Anarchy. He actually, him and his late wife, I'm brain farting on her name now. I know her first name's Lisa. They made their home in Jacksonville. I'm not sure where he lives now, but I've met him before when I worked at the movie theater. I also met Judge Reinhold at the movie theater. So I'm going with Ray Mckinnon, Travis. Ray McKinnon.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Ray McKinnon, Judge Reinhold, you have a standing invitation. Anytime you call this podcast.
Anytime.
When you want to reach the dozens and dozens of the Big C, Bigger T podcast followers, you're welcome.
That's right. Mine is more of a local celebrity. I want Craig O'Neill.
Oh, brother.
I want Craig O'Neill. Remember when he was at B98.5 and he would do the fake the prank calls?
Oh yeah.
My favorite, if you can get on YouTube and look it up, is when he called Texas and said he was from War Memorial. He was the groundskeeper from War Memorial. And then when they wrote out Texas, they added an S and asked if that would be okay. You can go through that in your mind. We don't use foul language on here, but go through it in your mind. There, he added an S to Texas. And needless to say, the AD from Texas was not happy. So I'd like to hear that guy's been around a long time, and he's just a fun guy. I was on TV at Wild River Country dancing on his show. He had a dance show on Saturday mornings.
I remember that.
You remember that? I was on that show as a kid, shirtless, doing the California Raisin Dance. Picture that, kids. So
PG show, Travis. Big PG.
Okay, so Ray McKinnon, right?
Yep.
Future guest. Possible. Craig O'Neill, future possible guest. As always, Jeff Nichols, I'm calling you out. We got to get this movie made. Maude Crawford story. People look up the disappearance of Maude Crawford. You'll see why I'm telling you that.
Judge Reinhold, I want to know what Eddie Murphy and Tim Allen are like in real life.
Yes,
hey,
you do.
I'm going to guarantee you something. All four guests, no one that will ever interview you will do less research than we do.
Yes, amen. That's correct.
That is a guarantee.
Guaranteed.
Like if you want hard-hitting questions, what the problem is with hard-hitting questions is sometimes it can go bad. I was listening to The Buzz one time, I think, and WWE was coming to town. And, of course, I'm a big pro wrestling fan. You can see the Macho Man shirt.
Macho Man, yeah.
And so they were interviewing Buddy Murphy, who's a great wrestler for WWE, one of the best workers they have. He had dated one of their female wrestlers, Alexa Bliss. They had broken up. And so they were asking him Alexa Bliss questions. And I'm like,
he started crying on the radio.
He didn't cry, but you could tell he was trying to he didn't want to be a jerk. He's doing. I'm like, he gonna cry in the car. He gonna cry.
Well, hopefully, Clint, next week we're gonna be talking about the Razorbacks moving on in the tourney.
Yep.
Whether you like it or not. Another wrestling.
Love it. Best thing.
Let's root on those Hogs this weekend.
Will you please put your phone on silent? How rude can you be?
I know I am.
My time is money. I'm joking. It's my day off. I've got nothing else to do.
Worst. But let's please, people, if you like this show, comment, like on Facebook, share it, subscribe to our channel on YouTube, subscribe to the channel on YouTube, subscribe to the channel on YouTube. If we get enough subscriptions, that opens us up for a lot more stuff we can do if you get up to like 100 or whatever. So subscribe, like on Facebook. Let us know what you think. If you have ideas, be honest with us. Tell us things you like, you don't like. We're big boys. We can take it. And answer the question. Coming of age trip. Did you take a trip? Let us know what you think. All that. Well, Clint, Big C.
Bigger T.
Been good.
Been good.
You the man.
Oh, you're the man too.
Have a good day. Have a good
Crying in your kingdom come. Sun beating down so hard I can barely breathe. Hard to sing the joyful song. The words got me on my knees. Then the gentle breeze blows by, pick me up right on time. Listen, now I know the Lord is near, working right by my side. That's why I swear, when I work, my hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no harvest till I hurt, crying your kingdom come. Oh, I swear, when I work, my hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no harvest till I hurt, crying your kingdom come. All right. Another day down, the work is done. I wonder what it's all worth. The pain of plowing all this ground.